Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Elaine Everdine. I'm joined by meteorologist Zach Gilday. It is Thursday night. It is 10 o'clock. Zach, we're getting close to some more of this wintry weather kind of creeping in for us tonight.
That's right. Back at it. We are seeing winter weather back in the forecast, and it seems like just a week ago we had that wintry storm pass through. Now this one is going to be a little bit different, which is actually good news for us.
Okay. Well, we'll take some good news. So let's start off here. What are we looking at?
Well, here's a map right here showing the winter storm alerts. Now we have the winter storm warning for the pink. That does include Knoxville areas east. So if you remember last winter storm, our western counties, they had the brunt of all that ice. Okay, in last storm, they had ice. There was a lot less snow. This storm, different kind of precipitation. So I think people might actually potentially like what this is going to happen.
Well, and it's interesting because I know for the last one, the mountains, Smoky Mountains area really didn't see a whole lot at all. So it's really, I feel like we've entirely flipped things here.
Yeah, so they're due, and they are expecting that snow to happen tomorrow. So that's why we're doing this stream. But yeah, in that blue shade, that is a winter storm advisory. And farther west, the plateau doesn't really have a lot going on tomorrow. And that's because pretty interesting track that storm system will be tracking over us and kind of strengthening as it passes by, moving northeast. So Cumberland Plateau, I think snow is going to be kind of hard to come by as we head into tomorrow, into Saturday. So this winter storm alerts, they are going to go into Saturday morning, or actually Sunday morning, 1 a.m., because the snow should actually linger a bit longer for those Smoky Mountain counties. And I do want to show you a few graphics. So what we are tracking is not just the snow, it's the cold. Now,
yes.
You probably noticed it has been
We've
very
been feeling
frigid.
it all week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been very cold. And today is nothing compared to what we are expecting. You could be seeing some near record cold temperatures, sub-zero wind chills, pretty much for everybody. And that might come as a shock to your system. I don't think the whole area has seen sub-zero wind chills yet this whole year, so it's going to be quite cold.
And I know something you've been talking about is the high temperatures are actually rivaling what you would consider, I'm trying to think, a record low high.
Exactly.
Do I have that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it, but record low high. So the temperature during the afternoon is going to be, it's going to be the coldest that we've seen for that day potentially, and that's for
we haven't
Saturday.
had much relief at all.
No, the highs are going to be well below freezing, and those lows even colder. So it's going to be an extended cold stretch coming up for us. And here's that satellite radar. You can actually see the storm is currently off to our west, moving from Oklahoma into Arkansas right now. So still a ways away, but it's going to be taking a dip down south. I can actually put the map into motion to show you the track of the storm. So tomorrow it's going to move south, moving across the Gulf Shore, and then eventually go up the eastern part of the country, the eastern seaboard. And this is the track that we want for snow. Remember, last time that track was a little bit farther north, and that's why we had the ice. And the big difference between this storm and that last storm system is we're not expecting any kind of ice. All the precipitation looks to be all snow, and that's good news for us.
Yes, absolutely. Because last time, the lack of snow, some people wanted it. So, people were looking at those Facebook social meteorologists, I believe Ken Withers calls them, and we're disappointed by the lack of that. But almost in discounting that, people don't realize just how dangerous the ice can be. So it's a different factor this weekend.
Now, you don't want to go on the roads when it's icy and snow, but it's going to be a different kind of issue as we go throughout the weekend. So the storm system, we can see it. The Arctic air will be there. That's a guaranteed. Still some questions on the track of this storm. If it kind of tracks farther west, then we're going to be seeing more snow. Tracks farther east, less snow. I do think that we kind of have a good grip on it. I think it's going to kind of hug the East Coast, and that will give our eastern counties the brunt of the precipitation. And again, it will be all snow, and we can see those chances right here. So snow chances really peaking across the area Friday night into Saturday morning. So a lot of people probably have plans tomorrow night, and I do want to give some advice for that. So if you live east of Interstate 75, Knoxville is kind of in a tough spot. I think western Knox County impacts not quite as much as eastern Knox County. And if you live across our eastern, the Smokies, you might want to think twice about heading out for Friday night, especially because the winds are going to be picking up. It's a big system, and when the system comes through, the winds will be strong out of the north, and with the snow, visibilities will be going down, but no ice.
Okay. Well, that is good. So I'm going to take a pause real quick and say hello to everyone joining us online. We appreciate you here. We are watching your comments, and I'm sure we're going to get so into the timing a little bit more, but we do have a question already, which is when tomorrow do we think things will start? When are we going to start seeing
great
possible
question.
snow?
Well, it depends where you are. I do think in our northern, the Kentucky-Tennessee border, mid to late afternoon, snow is really going to start to pick up. Knoxville, I don't think it's till after sundown. Until
So
the
later,
snow, yeah,
for some.
So later. So I think Friday you're good to go out the door, out to work and school. But you've been reporting out some school closures. I think some of our counties are already seeing some of that happening.
Yeah, I know Blount County, I've seen some talk on Facebook. And if you're wondering about any of those closures or delays, we have all the specific details posted for you over at WATE.com. And those are updated in real time. So that is the best place for your more current information. And real quick, we have a comment. I am east of 75. Let it snow, smiley face. Thank you for commenting.
All right. Hey, I think we're due for a good snow across the East Tennessee area.
And here's the thing. When it is snow and not so much of the ice risk, it feels a little bit better to feel good about it if you're someone who's into snow.
I think people call it the Instagram snow.
Because
it's great to go out there, take some pictures. You might not be able to have a snowball fight or make a snowman, but it'll make for some good pictures.
Okay, so this isn't likely going to be the snow that you can pack very easily.
No, I think it's just going to be way too cold.
Okay.
You know, we're on the back side of that system. That north breeze will really be kicking up the Arctic air. So I think it's going to be more of a high ratio snow, so light, fluffy type snow.
Okay, another question for us. How about Sevierville? Let's talk about Smoky Mountains, everybody east of us here in Knoxville.
Yeah, so Smoky, especially higher terrain, they're expecting the most of the snow. I think around. I do have a snowfall totals map. We'll get to that in just a second, but don't want to make you wait for it. So probably around 6 to 8 inches, and if you're above 5,000 feet, maybe up to 10 inches.
Yeah.
So significant snow for some, but not everybody will see that 6 to 8. I do think low end Smokies could see around 5 inches. It's pretty variable.
Right.
Because Smokies is a pretty wide area, and the more north you are in the Smokies, I think the higher snow totals you will see, because that system is kind of forming right over us.
Yeah. And I think the important takeaway, no matter where you are here in East Tennessee, is things are going to vary based on where you are. We saw that even a lot last weekend, people saying, I didn't see a thing, whereas other folks were dealing with some ice still. So you got to remember that it is a wide geographic area. Everybody's conditions are a little bit different. So we're just giving you the best estimate at where we think these zones could set up.
Yeah, great point there. And I do want to mention it's pretty much opposite what we saw last time. Last storm system, we had the ice and the impacts were across the plateau. This time is all snow, and the impacts look to be across our eastern counties.
Okay. Well, there you have it. All right. What do you got next for us here, Zach?
All right. So we got those snow chances right there. And I do want to mention the cold air. Here's how deep this cold air comes in. So this is Arctic air mass coming in. And you see that pinkish air encompasses the whole state, and even down into the deep south, into Mississippi, Georgia, even the Florida Panhandle looks to see some Arctic air come in. So the air will definitely be cold enough for this snow. And notice how temperatures tomorrow. Now this is for Knoxville. I think highs will creep up to above freezing. And you might say, can it snow when it's above freezing? It actually can, because the air aloft in the higher elevations will be so cold that it doesn't have enough time to melt. So I do think that there will be some snow, even though temperatures will initially be above freezing. Pretty small chances early in the day. And then I think once that sun goes down, I think it's game on. I think snow chances really go up.
So building up, you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning to a winter wonderland.
No, nothing like that. And here are those chances for snow. I do think the best chance, again, across the Smokies are eastern counties, and then the lower end across our southwestern counties. Because you saw that track of that low, it's moving northeast, kind of forming over us. And here's 6 predictor. Here's what we can expect out the door Friday morning. I think this model is doing a pretty decent job of things. I think tomorrow starts quiet, maybe a few breaks of sun as we go throughout the morning hours. Cloud cover increases. Notice how snow starts to fill in across our Kentucky, Tennessee border
so that's
counties.
At 3 o'clock right now is what you're looking.
Yeah, so I think on the way home from work and school, I think we're looking pretty good as far as those road conditions. And then I think once that sun sets, we're going to be seeing temperatures cool and the snow kind of saturate the air column, and then I think the snowfall rates will start to pick up. But it's going to be pretty cold, and I do think because of that cold air, you can see down in the teens, that is some very light, fluffy snow falling.
Okay. And that's Saturday, 7 a.m. So what we just watched was what we're expecting overnight.
Yeah, so overnight, if you have plans Friday night, might want to rethink them because you really don't want to be out on the roads when it's coming down like that. Visibilities will be down. Even though we're not talking about ice impacts, you know, the snow accumulation on the roads can still cause slick spots.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to just jump out and try to drive, especially. I mean, the crews have been doing a fantastic job. Everything looked pretty freshly treated today. I was driving in and around kind of the West Knoxville, North Knoxville areas, and you can see the fresh lines from the brine that they've been putting out.
Yep.
I know I still personally have a lot of salt on my front steps.
Oh yeah, my car is filthy. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I went to the car wash. It was on probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
And on
Why
the way
would you do that before?
on the way home from the car wash, just got all salted up.
Yeah, and so actually, this is an important note here. If you don't frequently drive in winter weather, the things like the salt and the brine, it can actually do some damage to the undercarriage of your vehicle. So
Yeah.
I would maybe wait till we're kind of through the densest part of the woods here, and you're going to want to get a good car wash and get that undercarriage cleaned out.
For
Side
sure, yeah.
note.
Don't want to have the car rust out. I've had that happen before.
Oh, no fun.
It's not a good idea. And yeah, so you can see 7 a.m. Saturday morning, snow is pretty widespread. And, you know, a lot of people not going to work on Saturday morning, so not too bad as far as the Saturday morning commute. Probably not a lot of people will be on the roads, but if you have to be on the road Saturday, you drive slow, be careful. Even though it's not ice, the snow can still cause impacts. And if you can avoid travel, I would do so, especially Saturday morning. Snow chances should come to an end west to east as we go throughout the day Saturday. Kind of lingering across those Smokies, the higher terrain areas, into the overnights. And this kind of what happens for those higher terrain areas. The moisture gets kind of wringed out when the air goes higher in elevation and kind of wrings out the remaining moisture, and we get some more precipitation. But we can see
I'm looking at those temperatures there.
yeah, that's, and I think for a lot of us, I think the big story will be the cold. So we are weather aware for that snow and for the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be seeing some dangerous cold, probably colder than last event. Yeah, so I do want to make people aware of that cold. And check out this graphic right here. So the potential to see snow over 1 inch. Looking pretty likely, especially east of Interstate 75, even across the plateau. I think that might be a bit overdone. I think down near Pikeville, I think an inch. I think that might be a bit overdone, but I do think that a lot of the area will see over 1 inch. And here's the percentages of getting over 3 inches. You can see it's still pretty likely across the Smokies.
A lot of people still could.
Yeah, our eastern counties. And with this type of snow, it doesn't take a lot of precipitation to really rack up those snowfall totals because the area is so dry. It's that light, fluffy type snow. And here it is. This is the snowfall map that we made. Again, 4 to 8 across the Smokies, higher peaks, probably 6 to 8, maybe at most 10 inches. And I think the northern half of those Smokies is probably closer to the 8, and then the southern probably closer to the 4. Knoxville is interesting. We're kind of on like the 1 to 2 inch border of the 2 and the 4. So kind of interesting to see what happens there. But the reason why we have the map drawn that way is because system moving northeast, strengthening, the snowfall rates pick up. That's why southwest counties, not really a whole lot of snow expected here. And the higher total should be across our northeastern counties.
Sure. Okay. So it's interesting the way this gradient forms. And again, I can't emphasize enough, just because you might be in a zone that looks like it could get up to 4 inches, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. Correct? Yeah.
It's just a range. It's just our estimate. And there are still a lot of variables. Yeah. Track of that low, if it kind of shifts a little bit farther east, less totals, shifts farther west, more totals, temperatures, the winds, the saturation of the column. If they have some dry air, we could see some less totals, but actually that could actually make things colder.
Yeah.
And make the ratio more, and then you could see some more accumulation. So, you know, the snow is never easy. They never make it easy. A lot of different variables going on.
So what kind of factors still are we watching overnight into the morning that could determine more where those totals could set up?
Yeah, the position of that low and when the precipitation starts, when it ends. If it starts earlier, we could be seeing some higher totals. The temperature of the air, the colder it is, the higher the snow ratio and the temperature in the upper atmosphere. So it's not just the surface temperature, it's the temperature aloft. If it's super cold up there, ratios will be higher. And the area in the atmosphere where the snow's crystals grow, they call it the dendritic snow growth zone.
Dendritic snow growth zone.
Yep, yeah.
Learn something new every day.
The dendrites are the snowflakes, and there's an area in the atmosphere where they grow. Is depending on the regime of the air mass, and if that area is, if there's some dry air gets in there, then snowfall rates will be a lot less. If it's saturated, then snowfall rates could be more.
Sure. Okay. So still stuff to watch, but we are feeling more confident that these general ranges are where things will shape up?
Yeah, I'm probably moderate confident on these snowfall totals. The timing, I'm more confident on that. Yeah, snowfall totals is always tricky.
It is. Very, and it's really up until you're getting into it. And even during, while it's over the area, things can probably still change then too, right?
Yeah, I would say that I'm not really like super high confident on these totals because the system, you saw it, you're still over Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's super weak, not producing any precipitation right now.
Hadn't formed into much yet.
Yeah, it has to dip down south, maybe get some Gulf moisture, maybe not, come up the East Coast.
Yeah.
How is it going to interact? So still a lot of things could happen to that storm system.
Right. Anna in our comments says, I'm hoping for 8 inches in Johnson City.
Johnson City, yeah, I think they're going to see some decent totals out there
right.
because they're farther east and that system is tracking east.
Sure. All right. Well, what's next? What do we got?
All right. So there's a snow map. That's what y'all wanted to see. But here are the impacts. So again, last time we saw some high impacts across the plateau. Plateau looks pretty low as far as the system goes. Really low to moderate across the area. But I do want to mention probably the biggest threat is going to be the blowing snow. The winds will be whipping, so some snow drifts. And what I mean by that is the snow is so light, the wind blows, kind of gets piled up in a specific area. And if that happens on the road and you're going down the road, that could have some serious consequences.
That is extremely disorienting if you've never experienced it when that snow's blowing across the road. It doesn't look real almost.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell that you're going straight. So even though the ice is not going to be the biggest risk on the roads this time around, the snow can still be slick. So all the same rules apply. You're going to want to allow a lot of extra time on the brakes, slow turns. I think that's what gets people is trying to turn too quick, and next thing you know, you're sliding.
Yeah, exactly. And in the Smokies, there could be some briefly heavier snow squalls, and that can make the visibilities drop suddenly.
Sure.
So definitely take it slow if you have to be on the roads. I think the conditions are really going to be the worst across the Smokies, probably Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday morning, if you're east of Interstate 75, I would probably avoid travel if possible, and even slightly west, because I do think there could be some impacts.
Sure. And that kind of leads me to another comment. We have a question. What's Sunday going to be like? What are we expecting?
Yeah, so Sunday will be cold. Sunday, we turn from precipitation worries to cold worries, and we are weather aware for the cold for the Sunday time frame too. So no more precipitation Sunday across the Smokies. All that should be out of here. I do want to show you again, we're talking light fluffy snow, so a high ratio, and it doesn't take much moisture. So these all assume the same amount of water. So if you have a 8-to-1 low snow ratio, that's only 2 inches of snow. But if you have 20-to-1, that's a lot more snow.
It is.
Yeah.
So the fluffy stuff, the heavy stuff that's more what you can pack together, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we're not really expecting that. So no snowball fights. Sorry, folks, for that.
You can throw it up in the air and have like a confetti powdery type situation.
Yeah. So it's Instagram snow. You can go out and get some nice pictures of it. But yeah, so light fluffy snow. And if you have like a light coating, you just forget the shovel, just get your leaf blower, just blow that off the back patio.
I never would have. Okay, but at least that's good to know that we're not going to have to really put in the work to scrape some of this ice off and away off of our pathway and our cars too. I know last weekend, so many people here at the station when we were all here on Saturday had cars just covered in ice by the end of the night.
It took like 20 minutes to warm the car up and melt all that ice. It's not going to be like that this time, which is good news. But people were talking about Sunday. Now here's Saturday. So we can see teens for the highs, wind chills in the single digits. Sunday, pretty similar day. And that's during the day. When the sun's down, I think the wind chill is going to be below zero. Goodness. Saturday, temperatures will suffer. The high looks to be at midnight, going throughout the overnight, 7 a.m. High, or the lows, 7 a.m. lows. Teens, wind chills, single digits. Really not much warming as we go throughout the day. Heading into Sunday, no more precipitation Sunday, but temperatures really bottom out Sunday morning. This is probably the coldest stretch here of the 48-hour loop here, showing Sunday morning wind chills below zero and temperatures single digits, even lower teens. Knoxville forecast at 11. Mount LeConte, 23 degrees below zero.
I see that number one digit. That is the high.
That's the 7 a.m. temperature.
7 a.m. temperature.
Yeah,
gotcha.
but the high, I'm sure it's not much better because there will be a snowpack across the area. So
Right.
yeah, so the cold is definitely another big concern across the area. Tonight, clouds increase mid-20s, and tomorrow we can see cold and cloudy, increase in clouds, snow forms. 7-day forecast does show the weather aware icon for Saturday. That's for the snow. Snow should begin Friday evening and then tapering off, I think, for most areas Saturday afternoon. For the Smokies, probably overnight into early Sunday morning. And then here is the cold. Teens for highs Saturday, Sunday, mid-20s. Monday still is going to be a cold and breezy day.
Yeah.
The wind Sunday and Monday will make it feel around 10 to 15 degrees colder. So pretty serious cold weather impacts coming up. That's why we are weather aware Sunday and Monday. Back in the 40s Tuesday. For this time of year, you can see the average high is 49. We're nowhere near that.
I don't think we've been near that for
No.
what I can remember anyway.
Yeah, I don't think spring is anywhere near. So
Remember around Christmas when we were like 60 and we were like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's so warm. Well, here's your winter.
So it kind of evens itself out pretty much
Sure
is
does.
what's happening right now. Wednesday, rain chances. I was looking at some models. Some models do show the potential for some freezing rain, but we're a ways out. And there's a lot that can happen between then and now.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that yet. But tomorrow, snow, as far as impacts, again, it's not going to be the end of the world by any means.
Right.
But there will be some light, fluffy snow impacting travel Friday night into Saturday morning. Snowfall totals, you might be surprised, and you might not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that chance Knoxville wakes up and doesn't have any snow. But,
Right.
But I really think that's not going to be the case. I think most of us will see snow. If you're across the plateau, probably not so much.
Right.
Smokies, definitely.
It's just the fact that it's looking likely. We cannot guarantee. I know a lot of people in the comments right now are, we just want the snow.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best to track it all for you and to give you the most current and accurate information.
Yeah, for sure. And Matt Condon will be on the news tomorrow morning. You
Yep.
can check him out. Ken Weathers is back tomorrow. We're going to time out the storm. I'll be doing the noon and the 3 and 4, and we'll get you through the storm. Yeah. So Friday, I think the day will start out fine. So I would get your stuff done in the morning.
Yes.
Midday, probably fine for most of us. Heading towards the evening, I hope all your activities are done because you don't want to risk it all and be out there on the roads, and especially when it's snowing now, you don't want to risk it.
Right. So just to reiterate, tomorrow morning, you're going to be fine. That's the time to get things done.
Yeah.
It's going through the day and especially into the evening that we could start to see these snow totals. Our friends in the Smokies, you're going to be seeing more of it than probably the rest of us, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Plateau, probably not so much, but the cold will be there for the whole forecast
Yes. Okay. And that's something important to remember here is that cold can be just as dangerous as some of these other things. So you don't want to go out wearing your t-shirt if you're going to be trying to enjoy the snow. Dress appropriately and just be careful because even though it is the powdery stuff, it can be slick still if you're moving a little too quick.
And that's a great point, Elena. I know people who have kids, they're probably going to want to be outside with their kids, get some photos. The kids are probably going to want to be in the snow. Now, it's going to be the type of snow where people want to enjoy it Saturday. It's going to be very cold. So wind chills, single digits. Frostbite really does come into concern,
And it can creep up on you faster than you might think.
Yeah,
So you just want to be careful.
And your kids might take a little bit less time to have that issue, hypothermia. So really make sure they have the gloves on, protecting their face, like the tip of their nose, the ears, earmuffs, and all that good stuff. And probably limit time outside.
Right. Short bursts are great. If you can get somewhere where you're either at home and have access, or I know a lot of people like to go to Lakeshore Park in Knoxville. Not a bad idea to have the car nearby if you need to warm up. But
warm up.
Get out there and enjoy it if you can.
Get a cup of hot cider, warm up, and then head back out.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in the Midwest, so snow was a little more familiar, and it's crazy what a cup of hot chocolate can do to just get you through the rest of the day.
Yeah, I grew up in New England. We had that hot cider. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever your warm beverage of choice may be.
For sure.
We are wishing you all a safe weekend. Again, can't reiterate enough, especially with driving, even though we are not projecting icy conditions all around. The slick snow can still cause some problems, so you're going to want to take it slower than you might think. Increase that following distance, all the things they taught us in driver's ed. I almost said driver's end. But either way, slower turns, longer on the brakes than you might think. again, thank you everyone who joined us in the chat. You guys had some great questions.
Yep.
Zach said it. We're going to be tracking everything throughout the day for you tomorrow. Late until this time tomorrow night, I believe we will be having this same conversation. Or actually, I might be doing it with Ken Weathers. But some of us will be here on YouTube, on all the social medias for you guys. So you are welcome to join us. We'll update you on all the most current progress. Zach, anything else we need to be left with for now?
Keep an eye on the radar. We got a free weather app, and you can download that, and you can keep track of the storm with us.
Yeah, Storm Team 6 weather app. You can get it on the App Store or Google Play.
Check it out.
Check it out. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Wishing you a safe night. Try to stay warm this weekend. We'll see you back here tomorrow with all the latest and most current information.